Last one for the night. Grandma's Night Before Christmas. 'Twas the night before Christmas, the kids had just left, and Grandma sat down in her chair for a rest. She hugged them and kissed them and waved them good-bye. Then with a smile on her face she had breathed a great sigh. She could still see the grins on their bright shining faces, see them wiggle and giggle as she tied their shoelaces. She thought of their daughter, her mom. I'll get this right in a minute. She thought of her daughter, their mom, who had fumed because of all the candy her kids had consumed. How she begged and she pleaded, "Please, Grandma, no more. If Kate has had one piece of fudge, she's had 4. Do you suppose Aubrey will sleep through the night? Her tummy's so full and those jammies are very tight." But Grandma just nodded and winked at her dears. After all, Christmas time just comes once a year. If she couldn't spoil them, 'twas be a great shame, so she smiled and accepted that blame. If it was right at that moment that Santa flew by, he knew what dear Grandma was up to and why. He silently watched and prepared for the season as she tirelessly shopped and baked treats for one reason. Those little dear grandkids were all that mattered to her, though her feet got sore and her apron got splattered. The gifts that she sought must be perfectly right, so that in each child's eye she would see pure delight, an expression that said, "Grandma, how did you know that this is the one gift that I wanted just so?" "Ah, grandmas just know this," Santa thought to himself. "Why doesn't my dear Mrs. Claus know each elf? And doesn't she know each children worldwide, and how they are feeling way down deep inside? That is why grandmas know just what is right to give their dear ones that glorious night." So thinking, old Santa flew up on his way. He had so much to tend to before Christmas Day. He left Grandma sitting there sorting the gifts and the gift wrap and all that small spirits to lift. Adam the teenager knew his gift was clothes, so he couldn't care less which gift wrap she chose. She knew that sweet Sarah and Rachel would squeal, ripping open those gifts and just seeing what they reveal. Then Andy, dear Andy, so easy to please, would run and kiss Grandma and jump on her knees, saying, "Oh, how I wish that each single day was awesome as Christmas. I want it to stay." This kind thought that young Andy expressed was what Santa was thinking as he put on his vest. I don't have on my glasses. Why can't folks be generous and loving all year? Not only at Christmas time, he said to his dear. What a wonderful place this old world would be. Mrs. Claus, who stood close, whispered, "Yes, I agree." Why don't you inquire of some of Grandmas tonight, just how they spread happiness, cheer, and delight? What makes them persist and expect no return, and love so completely even if they are spurned? What an excellent notion, St. Nick cried with glee. Without you, my sweet wife, oh, where on earth would I be? And so Santa set off, a new spring in his step. Even Dasher and Dancer and the crew had more pep. The gifts were the first stop he gently set down, then carefully with keen eyes he scanned the whole town. He soon saw a grandmother sitting alone, focusing on a small voice on the telephone. With a wink of his eye and a nod of his head, he joined the sweet grandma and heard what she said. "Oh, Alex, I wish I could be with you too, but I know what you'll like, what I've mailed to you." Look out at the snowflakes as the light as a feather. Each one means I love you and we'll soon be together. Santa knew without asking one answer he sought, that some gifts from grandmas could never be bought. He flew up and away, the next to the village to visit, over sparkling snow-covered trees just so exquisite. He delivered his loud and spied a great house where a well-to-do grandma sat quiet as a mouse. He stopped by to ask what problem she toiled, as was surprised when she said, "My grandchildren are so spoiled." So this year we're giving and sharing our toys, having fun bringing joy to some sick girls and boys. Nick then found a grandma in a home oh so small, who was rollicking with grandkids, and they were just having a ball. They romped on the couch, her couch, full of patches and splits, but when you're with Grandma, it just feels like you're at Ritz. The last sweet old lady he met on the way home was one among many who also played Mom. She cared for those youngsters from 8 until 5, never complaining, just helping them thrive. Finally, dear Santa zoomed back to the pole. He had an idea to reward those dear souls. By magic he contacted children worldwide. "Send love notes to Grandma to thank her," he cried. The children were so happy to please old Saint Nick, for he was their hero. He brought them great gifts. So the following day, when grandmas awoke, tears ran down their cheeks as they read sweet notes. All of the children, different ages, wrote "I love you" to Grandma on pages and pages. And as for the grandmas, this Christmas would give some beautiful memories as long as they lived, of notes and wishes from Nick who took flight. Merry Christmas, dear grandmas. Sleep soundly tonight. Oh, okay, that's 4 books in one night. So your Blind Bombshell is all Christmas spirited out for right now. I will try and get us caught up, so we are going to be closer to Christmas, and we've got to have 12 days of Bombshell reading books. So you keep count out there, and we'll see how good I get to 12 days of Bombshell. Well, stay tuned, and hope that all you rascals out there are remembering to be good, because Santa Claus is watching you.